Hi, folks. This is Rick Doc Walker, the DOC.
This is John Kime, and you're listening to the Mess Hall with Rally Captain and Tailgate Ted.
What's going on, Rally? You ready for New England?
Hey, man, I am ready for New England like I have never been ready before. Let me tell you, this is going to be so good to be able to see the Burgundy and Gold take the field against another opponent other than themselves.
Yeah, man, I'm jealous. You're going to be up there. Granted, it's the first preseason game. So did you ever? The media guy reached out to me. I sent him your contact info. I'm not sure if he actually hit you up or not. He asked me, "Are you looking forward to the game this weekend?" I said, honestly, no, I'm not. Right? It's the first preseason game. Right?
Well,
It does not.
He told me that it was a little bit more than just no. It was more like a foxtrot no. But that's all I'm gonna say.
I mean, I'm not excited about it, right? I'm not really looking forward to it at all. According to Nikki Javala, she said it'll be Josh Johnson and Sam Hartman in Friday's preseason game against the Pats. So, not gonna lie, I'm not watching it live. I know you're gonna be there. You're gonna be representing the Burgundy and Gold.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch that thing on replay with no commercials and no TV timeouts and no referee timeouts, just so we can break it down and take a look at it. But man, this first preseason game, that one's tough.
You know what? It is, Ted, but at the same time, it's Commanders football, and that's what I believe in. Not to say anything against you for not wanting to see it, but and truthfully, I understand. I really do. As I've always said, you have an inferior product on the field with I shouldn't say inferior. You have a less than first team talent on the field. But the fact is, this is the only way that you can see what we truly have in a game type situation in an opposite jersey. So I welcome it. It's football, and it's the beginning of a long series of football that I can't wait for.
No, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. And we'll jump into that here in a minute. But speaking of welcoming, so it's been 2 weeks since our last show. And once again, a lot has happened in 2 weeks. We got done with the last show, and I texted you, something's coming. Something's happening. I couldn't get into details with it. But for those that don't follow me on social media or just aren't in the DC area, after we got done recording the show, I'm out the pickleball courts. I'm hanging out, and I get a call from the mayor's office thinking, damn, I thought I paid my taxes. Or damn, they caught up on my tickets. Like, what's going on here? So they actually reached out to me and asked if I would be interested in introducing the mayor for a rally she was holding, basically to kind of hype up the Commanders' first vote for RFK. So I immediately said yes. Tell me the details. What in the world do I have to do? And then I just got into like a cold sweat. So I'm thinking, what the hell am I going to say? Am I going to like roast her? Am I going to be like joking? Like, what's this going to be? So for those of you that don't know, here's actually what I said. It's pretty quick for the mayor's intro. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. Now, some of you are probably wondering how Tailgate Ted ended up behind the mic at this press conference. Believe me, I was wondering the same thing. When I got a call from the mayor's office last night, I honestly thought they were asking me to cater the event. Turns out they had something a little more meaningful in mind. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a proud DC resident and a diehard Washington Commanders fan. I grew up going to games at RFK with my dad. It wasn't just a football stadium. It was a place where the city came alive. It's where champions played, where fans became family, and where so many unforgettable moments were born. Today, we're one step closer to bringing that magic back. The possibility of the Commanders returning to their true home means something deeply personal to so many of us. This is bigger than football. It's about identity, community, and pride in our city. And no one has championed that vision more fiercely than the person I'm about to introduce. She's fought for DC every step of the way and knows just how much this moment means to all of us. It's my absolute honor to welcome the mayor of Washington, D.C.,
Muriel Bowser.
So the mayor talks for another 17 minutes. I'm standing behind her the entire time. My part was just a minute and a half. And other than that, it was a crazy experience, man. I did not know what to expect, but it was an honor to be a part of the, I guess, welcome home rally, if you will,
Yeah.
to hopefully, welcome home our football team back to the district.
The next thing you know, they're going to be giving you the keys to the city.
So it got crazy awkward, right? So the team last week had two hearings with the DC City Council. So the first hearing I didn't go to because you and I were at training camp. That was Tuesday last week. And they were there till after midnight with 500 people testifying on why they want the team to come back to DC. And there are some people that were against it. The next day, I'm there. There's no training camp practice, and I was asked to be there by the commanders. And I've been picking fights with council members, right? I don't think they're doing their jobs. So I'm there at 8 o'clock in the morning down at City Hall, and I'm handing out major tutty towels, right? I'm basically just trying to get people to drum up the vote in honor of the team. And some of the council members I'm picking fights with on social media and everything else, calling them out, they walk past me. And let me tell you, some of the looks I got, man, it was ugly, just straight ugly.
Did you expect anything different?
Because they're politicians, I expected a different face and maybe a handshake or a hello. But I was a little surprised. You gotta, because there are times when I'm walking through the grocery store, I'm doing something, and I'm not having the best day, and someone says my name or they say Tailgate Ted, I immediately have to smile because I don't want that person to say something on socials about, oh, so and so was a jackass or something like that to me. So I was kind of surprised considering these guys are politicians and they do this day in, day out. Like, I think I told you when we were out of camp, there was a season ticket holder that drew a sketch of building RFK 2.0 on the water at Georgetown, on the Georgetown waterfront.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I'm telling her this is not realistic. It's not possible. She walked up to one of those politicians that gave me an attitude, and he's sitting there talking to her for 10 minutes. Like, this is actually something he's going to do and something he's going to work on. So yeah, I was a little shocked at that, but it was a interesting experience being in the council chambers for 7 hours with one break for 10 minutes. Man, it was damn painful, but being able to be there firsthand, talking to team president Mark Klaus, and just trying to bring our team back home, man.
Well, you did a hell of a job. And what I noticed is you knew how to pause just right so that the audience could give their applause. So I was like, this guy's a natural. So it's only a matter before he's Councilman Tailgate Ted.
Yeah, so there are three members. So the vote had to pass 8-3 out of 12. So there were some concerns about what was going to happen. It passed 9-3. There's three council members that did not vote for it. It was Robert White Jr., who I have been going after online constantly about it because the guy was on the fence wavering. And it actually got really ugly between him and the mayor during the hearing where he called the mayor out. She called him back. So those weren't the conversations we had. And this is all in front of a full room with just people there and live. So it was definitely crazy. Nadeau, who is for Ward 1, who never votes yes on something like this. And this gentleman, Fruman, who didn't even bother showing up. I guess he was on vacation. So he joined it from his Zoom and wasn't there in person for any of this stuff. So those are the three people that voted no on the RFK deal. I don't live in two wards that two of them are from. So the only seat I could go after would be Robert White's. So if he screws this thing up, because there has to be a second vote, best believe someone's gonna be coming for that crown. I'm not sure it's gonna be me because they work hard and I don't think they get to play hard, but best believe someone's gonna be coming after them because in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion, this is what's right for the city. On top of that, it benefits the Commanders.
Hey man, I say throw your hat in the ring. You just never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
Well, next November's the election, so we'll see how it goes between now. If we win a Super Bowl this season, I'm going to retire from tailgating, so I'll have more time on my calendar to, devote to
Is
something
that
else.
is that something that's personal with you? That you said if we ever win the next Super Bowl, I won't do any more tailgates. How does that work?
I'm thinking go out like Peyton, go out on top, right?
Oh, okay.
It's maybe come back for one more at the new RFK site because I've got fans attacking me, Washington fans attacking me. How can you want us to be in a stadium where there's going to be PSLs? How can you want us to be in a stadium where we can't tailgate? Right. And it came up during the hearing. Mark Klaus was basically up there in front of DC Council, and they are asking him, plus the mayor and the team's architect and this and that, different questions. So PSLs came up, and I'm actually surprised the media has not run with this. And I'll see if I can cut up the audio and clip it. But Charles Allen asked about PSL specifically, and he said, yes, they are coming in 2026. So for those of our listeners that are hearing this right now, 2026 is the date that they said PSLs are coming. He also
So
said during shoot.
when they say they're coming, does that mean that you start paying full price in 2026, or does that mean that you'll start paying a payment plan or a portion in 2026?
They don't know. That's the thing, right?
Hmm.
So they have been so focused on this RFK vote and everything else, they don't have the details, right? The DC City Council thought that the team was paying DC to sell PSLs back to fans, which is not the case. So he had to explain PSLs are coming, and it's a way for them to raise revenue for the stadium, and it's going directly to the stadium. Charles Allen's issue was he doesn't want a third parking garage. He only wants 6,000 parking spaces, not 8,000 parking spaces. So the team has agreed to pause construction on that third garage, which they are responsible for. It's a whole mess. But my whole takeaway was, okay, PSLs are coming 2026. The cat's out the bag. Mark Klaus, team president, mentioned 2026. So I immediately talked to the team after, like, all right, guys, here are the questions. Is it going to be due in full in 2026? What are the payment plans going to be? What's going on? Because RFK coming back is not a done deal. There is a second vote, or what they call a second reading, that is going to happen September 17th, hopefully sooner, but September 17th. Once that happens, then the mayor gets it, she signs it, and then it goes to Congress. Congress can stop this. We've talked about this before in past podcasts, but we get new listeners every day. I don't think they're going to. I'm knocking on wood right now, but Congress can stop this and put an issue with this. But keep in mind, the Senate is the one that stayed until midnight to pass unanimously the RFK bill so DC could get access to the land. So for them to stop it, it just makes no sense because they worked so hard to actually get this thing through. Then the team, I believe, is going to focus on construction, PSLs, and everything else that comes with the new stadium. So once that happens, yeah, my questions are just like you. Do I got to come up with 20 grand right away? What am I going to have to do? What's it look like? So I'm trying to have these discussions with the organization on, hey, we got to talk about payment plans. We got to talk about options. Telling a season ticket holder that sits in the lower bowl that it'll be affordable, but your affordability option is moving them into the nosebleeds in the fourth level so they can,
That's
use
not
some
affordable.
Windex to wax the glass up top with that dome that you can be able to come, get sunlight in. That's not realistic. That's not an option for them, right?
No, ultimately, I want to be able to sit where I sit during the old stadium. Um, and if it means that I will forego me being a season ticket holder and buy individual tickets so that I can sit there, then that's what I'll do. But right now, hey, make it affordable for me, the little guy with the payment plan. We all can, you don't buy your car, your BMW or your Mercedes at one at a pop. They give you a payment plan, a 5-year payment plan. Now they've got what, 8-year payment plans. So Make it affordable, guys. You've got the blueprint in front of you. Run with it. Don't recreate the wheel.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, and that's what I'm hoping, and that's why I'm trying to get close with the right people to talk about that and have those discussions with them, so they understand that we talked about this before. Like, you want your diehards to be there, and it was brought up by, I believe it's Jean Louis George, the affordability of going to the stadium, right? How are fans going to be able to do that? And team president talked about giving tickets to DC, giving them to the district. So the district can then disperse them to families that they deem, individuals that they deem, I guess, good to have these tickets where they might not be able to afford to go. Right. And this is something that I brought up with Joey Colby Begovich in the past. Like, back in the day, the stadium was empty. Right. And it just looked bad on TV. It was bad optics. I said,
Oh yeah.
why aren't you guys donating tickets to Pop Warner programs? Why aren't you guys donating tickets to high school teams, right? Football teams, women flag football teams, girls flag football teams, getting them out there? The answer I got back was, when we donate tickets, we have to pay for them because it's a revenue share with the NFL. But to me, that is just so short-sighted an answer, because you're building fans in the long run, right? You're getting people out to a game that might not be able to go to a game. And I remember my first game with my pops at RFK, right? I don't know if you remember the first game you ever went to, but to me, it's one of those core memories that you never forget. And imagine going with, granted, you lived in Texas and wore cowboy boots, but imagine
I
going to your
did.
first game, right? Whether it was wherever the Cowboys played or whatever it may be.
Well, let me tell you this. I think that it looks better with fans in the stands versus seats covered with red cloth. I think that that looks a lot better. And it got to the point, as we all know, that that's what they had to wind up finally doing. Now, also, the team was mismanaged very much so back then. So I think that you won't have that issue, if you will, now moving forward. And if you did have that, I believe that we have smarter people in the building who understand the importance of that, not only just the optics, but the importance of having, even if it's a toddler to a teenage kid in the stands, it goes a long way. Like you said, you're building future fans, and that's what's needed.
It definitely does. And hearing that the team was going to do that and give those seats to the city so they can bring people out there. And it's not just about them, right? It's about those of us that are still going. And they talked about tailgating, and they said there's going to be an aspect of tailgating for everybody, right? And whether that means
Aspect.
bar gating, whether that means, us still tailgating like we can now, but changed up in a different way, it's not going to be what we're used to. And 5 years from now, man, I don't want to give my age out, but I'm getting up there. So I don't know if I'm still going to be able to do what I am doing now. To the point of, my crew and I are looking for help. And for those of us listeners that are, those are the listeners that are listening right now, we're looking to add some new crew members. So if you all are interested in joining the Hail Barbecue crew, send me a tweet, send me a message, and we can have you submit an application, and we'll see how it goes. But I think what a lot of people don't get is, we still got 5 years left at Northwest, at least. Right? Assuming all this thing, goes to a schedule, I'm gonna enjoy that as long as I possibly can.
Heck yeah,
But want to make sure you all
definitely.
have a heads up on the timeline for when we go back to DC, because it's happening.
One way or the other, it really is, unless someone poo-poos the deal, which I don't think, like you said, that they would, but because of the whole stimulus aspect of the monies that will be coming into the district, you got to take your personal feelings out of it, which sometimes is hard to do for these people. But uh, I just think that it's going to happen, and I'm looking forward to it. And like you said, even if it means that in 5 years my season ticket ends, and so be it. But I will be, whether I'm a season ticket holder or an individual person purchasing a ticket, I will be in the stadium for the first game.
Oh yeah, no, it's, unless I'm 6 feet under, and
Oh
God willing
yeah,
I'm not, that you cannot keep me away from that first game at RFK when we come back, man. And maybe I'll ask the mayor for some help and she can introduce me and help me, get a seat in that stadium if I can't afford a PSL. But we'll see what goes on.
By then you'll have your own seat, councilman.
Well, I'm thinking the council members that voted no should not get tickets, right? If you vote no to this stadium, those 3 of you that said no, security stopping you at the door. Maybe I'm petty, but
voted out.
we're stopping you. Yeah. Well, by then, yeah, it should be. We'll see how it goes. But they do let everyone in attendance at training camp as long as you got a spot. And you and I went to training camp last week, Tuesday and Thursday. Got out there Tuesday, and I was there at 6:30. There were maybe 100 people in front of me, and they said one of the people got there at midnight. I want to meet that guy, shake his hand, and also, why did you get there at midnight? I mean, there's so many other things I would rather do. And how did he even get access at midnight? I was kind of shocked that he pulled that off.
Well, I'm sure that no one was there, as far as the staff to the flag people to wave you into the parking lot. So all you got to do is just pull right on up at midnight and allow the night watchman, if you will, to say, hey, what are you doing here? Nope, got to leave. So, because no one's gonna really give assets to be at Ashburn around the clock, except for I'm sure the guy who is the actual guard in the front.
Yeah, there is a guy posted at that gate 24/7. So he was asked to leave, and I guess a bunch of people came back. But what was it like for you being back out of camp?
Oh man, once again, just to see the fans, to see the whole smell of the fresh grass being cut, the fans, the burgundy and gold, the camaraderie. You didn't see a frown on anyone's face, unless maybe they saw the prices of some food, possibly. But other than that, you didn't see a frown on anyone's face, and they're ready for Commanders season 2, the JD5, to take us to the promised land. And that's all that people's lives, they were lit up, including mine. And so I'm looking forward to see, hey, what familiar faces do I see? And a lot of fans, as you know, asked about you, asked about me, asked about other fans as well. I love the fact that we are coming together, forget all the outside noise, if you will, and we focus on one thing, and that's burgundy and gold football.
Yeah, it was great, man. And you and I went in together, but we kind of went our separate ways because I wanted to sit there and just watch practice and take notes for the pod and just kind of see what was going on. And I didn't really walk around much. So they changed it because I wasn't there last year. These private suites that we got access to on Thursday, were those there last year? I don't think so.
No, those were all stands before.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Actually, that was ADA, and they extended the stands and they extended the ADA further out. So that was all just ADA, and then the regular stands were to the right. So they made it a lot bigger for the VIPs, if you will. Because let's face it, man, when you're losing, you're a VIP, or not VIP, shall I say, but your suite holders, if you will, they were very low. But now that we're winning, everyone wants to be a part of the burgundy and gold. Whereas before, me and you, man, we've been through some lean years, bro. With no pats on the back, no pats on the back. But here we are now, and so I can't be mad at someone who wants to be a bandwagon fan. The more the merrier, and hey, just remember who paved the way for you to be here. That's all I'll say, because I know that from Chief Z to Super Skins to all these other people who paved the way for me to be where I am.
Yeah, it cracked me up because I live rent free in all of Philadelphia, right? And I posted a picture at camp talking about how I remember it was just a handful of us out here, and it was just so awesome to see all these fans waiting in line. All these Philly fans decided to chime back in saying, "So you're saying you all are just bandwagoners?" And I don't bother responding back to them. I just mute every single one of them. right? And I've actually, you can mute words in your Twitter feed. So I've muted some words. I'm not going to say which ones they are. Don't want to get political, whatever else. But one of the words I've muted has to deal with the Hard Rock. So I just don't see it anymore, right? Y'all can just waste your time, and I ain't never going to see it. And what if you replace the A with an at symbol or whatever you want to like try and be crafty, I got every single freaking iteration of it inside there. So I ain't going to see it. But they felt like responding back, just calling our fans fake and bandwagon. They don't get it, man. And I don't blame fans for not showing up in the past, right? It was painful to be there. Those of you that didn't want to give Snyder your money, hey, that's you. That's how you choose to spend it. You and I will never get in someone's pocket on how they spend their extra cash.
Never.
Right? Me, I was there to support the players. And a lot of those players I knew just because I used to do a TV show out of the park, right? And I wanted to be there to cheer them on and support them. But to me, it is just so great. And I ran into so many listeners, man, that were asking where you were when we were walking around. I was walking around. So where's Rally? Love the pod, man. Appreciate all the content, blah, blah, blah. And it was just awesome to be there around the fan base again, because you've got some that are so divided on the whole Terry thing. And we'll jump into that in a second. But the only thing that we could all agree on was football was back, right?
Me and gold.
They had full pads on. Debo looked good. He looked fast. I mean, Laramie Tunsil is a freaking mountain of a man. Just being out there in person, there's nothing like it. And if you guys didn't get it, you know, I feel for you, because I think the last practice is August 10th, which is for military members only that signed up as part of that program.
That's Sunday, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, it's right around the corner. Yeah, that's actually military appreciation one. So this Sunday, my friends from I can't even think of their names right now, but I'll think of it later. They're bringing a bunch of military vets out to meet with the team, and they used to do that with Rivera because of his whole allegiance to the military. And I'm glad to see that that's actually still going on. But who wasn't there was obviously, you know, Terry. So you and I were hanging out, and Chad Ricardo of Fox 5 asked us to come over, got to do a live hour show with Chad. Lou Holder from the Holder Hangout asked us to kind of come on over so we could do a shot with him.
Great guys.
That was awesome. If you guys don't follow those two, shame on you. Because Chad, man, I don't know how he gets his energy, but he's nonstop, just constantly all over the place. And I want to give him a credit card just so he can buy me clothes, because his wardrobe is always on point whenever I see him.
Yeah, he can dress. Definitely.
So what were your thoughts when Chad asked you to be a part of that live segment for an hour on Fox?
Well, you know, I was honored, first off, because, you know, I don't get the interviews like you do. I get a couple, don't get me wrong, but as far as being the face, you're the face, bro. Everybody knows Tailgate Ted, you know. So I was happy because I was actually on my way out of the park, and I got the phone call, and he says, "Yeah, I want to have you on the show." Wow, okay, I'm honored. Let's do it. And so whatever you need from me, you know, I'm going to be candid, and I was, and I'm not quite sure on how well it went over, but you know, I got to be me, you got to be you, and that's what makes this thing tick.
I thought it went well. I thought you did a damn good job.
Yeah.
And no one would expect you to be anything but honest. And he asked us, you know, I'm trying to see if I can pull up your interview here. Let me get 1 second, because he has it on his Instagram. So actually, I think I might have found it.
We got 5 out there at the quarterback. We got 1. We're adding him. This team has improved across that offensive line as well. But Riley, I don't got to tell you, this team is missing 17.
We are missing him, and so I gotta give it to you straight.
Come on now, man. I wouldn't have you here if you weren't going to give it to me straight.
I gotta give it to you straight. We know that the NFL is a dirty business.
Yes.
And Terry is a fan favorite. And unpopular opinion is, and I've been saying this, and my buddy Ted can vouch for this. Before Terry McLaurin was Terry McLaurin,
yes,
who did we have at receiver? We had someone else. I say all that to say that, Terry, I want you to stay.
Oh.
By all means, I want you to stay.
Oh.
But there is a however comma.
Oh.
There's someone who's in the wings right now who is looking to take Terry's spot.
That's right.
And the general population, general public, we don't know of him yet.
That's right.
And the only way that an unknown name can become a known name is to do what he's doing on the practice field right now.
Man.
So I don't want you to go, Terry. But I got to keep it real.
So you're speaking of what is it? The Wally Pipp factor, the Wally guy in baseball. That is, when you're not out there on the field, that opens the door for someone else to walk in.
Exactly, and it's unfortunate, but it's the business that we root for. It really is.
So I appreciate that take and you saying that. And for those wondering, Riley and I were talking about Jaron Lane, right? He's been the kind of the camp darling that everyone's been noticing. Not McCaffrey, right? Everyone's kind of hoping would take that next step up. It's been Lane who has been showing out. And my whole thing is, all right, let's see him show out against other competition. Let's see him show out in the Patriots game. Let's see him show out in the Bengals game at that point. Let's see him show out in this joint practice. So fast forward, it is Wednesday the 6th. So the Commanders had their joint practice. And 7 Commanders did not make the trip. Terry didn't and Sam Cosmi. They're on the PUP. Players on PUP don't travel with the team. Marcus Mariota didn't make it. Jordan McGee, Brandon Coleman, Javonte Jean-Baptiste, and Noah Brown. Noah still hurt from last season. He's still working back. So during today's joint practice, apparently, Jaden looked good. At one point, they said he was surgical. He's doing everything he can. The first team offense looked great. Laramie Tunsil, I think B. Mitch and Finley were broadcasting their show live from there. Mm-hmm. So those of our listeners that didn't get a chance to listen to them, go listen to that after this. They said Tunsil basically blocked the guy into the bleachers, right? And just hearing that, like Brian Robinson hitting holes and just running through people. You don't get to see that in practice because guys aren't going 100%. You're not trying to knock your brother out, right? And you're also not tackling to the ground. But the first team offense stumbled in red zone and they could not get in the end zone at that point. And you've got several beat reporters and people saying that's when you missed Terry, when they were doing goal line and you couldn't get in. That's when it was apparent that the Commanders don't have a receiver right now that does what Terry does on the field in those scenarios. So I think it was, well, I don't want to misquote the person or the website, but I think it was Rigo's Rag. Yeah, Rigo's Rag. Commanders just handed Terry McLaurin pivotal leverage on a silver platter. This was an article by Dean Jones on Rigo's Rag, basically saying that the Commanders receivers, and granted, they were not going against the number ones for the Patriots. They did not show a lot in today's practice. Apparently, the only people that did well from a receiving standpoint was Zach Ertz, who they said he actually looked faster this year than he did last year. And I want to say it was the running backs were really the only ones that did anything. The wide receivers didn't do much. So maybe, just maybe, that's going to get back, or they're going to make sure it gets back. Actually, it was Debo, Eckler, and Ertz were the only ones that typically got targeted consistently by Jaden. So I got to think that Buddy Baker, Terry's agent, is going to blow this thing up and maybe put a yard sign in front of Adam Peters' house to make sure he knows that, hey, Noah Brown, if he's your answer and Debo, that's not a good answer, right? And not to say that Lane didn't do anything. I just didn't hear his name by any of the beat reporters, and there could be a reason for that. And I'll actually let Dan Quinn tell you why.
Having a joint practice and a game is good for us, for Adam and myself, for a lot of reasons. The first one is evaluations. There'll be some that'll play a lot in the practice and none in the game. There'll be another crew of players that'll play some at practice and some in the game, and then there'll be another group of players that'll play limited here today and a lot in the game. So the goal over those two sessions, how many evaluations can you get, as opposed to one that gets a bunch here and a bunch in the game. Can we spread some of those out so by the time we get into the weekend, man, we got a lot of tape to look at and a lot of guys to put in this spot.
So I am curious to see how much Lane is going to play this Friday when you're up at Foxborough, because if he plays a ton there, then it's starting to make me wonder, have they seen what they want to from him? Because I would have thought that they would have seen some of that by now and would have heard his name at practice today. But I didn't hear anyone really say anything about him other than I think he might have had a good punt return. But from a wide receiver perspective, I didn't hear much.
Well, it takes time. It takes
Agreed.
time.
Yeah.
And so true game situations or scenarios, I feel that we will see. And I'm looking forward to it. And that's all we can pretty much ask for. Obviously they've seen it. They've seen some things on tape, but they haven't seen enough, as you said. So we're gonna make it happen though. And people lie, players lie, but the tape don't lie. So we'll see what happens.
Nah, it definitely doesn't lie. And I'm interested to see who actually plays, right? Because to me, it's not quite fair to Lane because he's got Sam Hartman throwing him the ball, or he's got Josh Johnson throwing the ball. He doesn't have 5 throwing him the ball, and Mariota didn't make the trip. So Hartman has not been that accurate, right? And Johnson, he's a journeyman backup, third string forever. So I would really love to see what the young man can do. I'm hoping in that Bengals game where we'll get to see the first team offense. Hopefully Terry's back by then, but right now, I don't think it's happening. And when you and I left training camp that day, later on that day, Terry requested a trade. And there's a text thread between you, me, and a different reporter. We'll just leave who it is out. And you replied, Terry asked for a trade? And what were your first thoughts when you saw that kind of come over the wire?
I was shocked. And never would I have thought that Terry would have asked for a trade, but then I had to take my heart out of it and go back to the art of the deal or the art of the negotiation. And this is just another step in the game of chicken to see who's going to move first. Ultimately, as I said before, Terry is the one who is kind of out, if you will, because he's still in the contract, and so he has to play, or unless he's just going to forego not playing. But for the most part, he has to play. But this is the way to really continue to steal headlines. We talked about always. This year was the first year that there was very little off the field type stuff going on. Well, this obviously is in the forefront of everything, so we can't just let it go. But it's all a part of the deal, and I'm hoping that it works out for him, which I believe it really will.
Yeah, and everyone starts freaking out once they saw Terry requested a trade. Right, this is just there's a playbook that agents follow, that players follow, and this is just the next page in that playbook. Right, you ever get called by telemarketers? Right, and
Yes.
do you, instead of hanging up right away, do you just sit there and just mess with them?
I used to, but my time is so valuable now, man, to where the phone is ringing again, and it could be a potential SB events customer. So I don't keep them on the line that long. I used to have a call blocker or a spam blocker, if you will, that would send them messages or whatever have you, and say, "Hey, hold on a second, I'm in the shower," or whatever have you, to keep them on the line longer, because that meant each minute that they're on that
They're not
robocall,
calling
if you
someone
will,
else.
there you go.
That's
So,
funny, man. That's hilarious. Yeah, I just remember a couple times where I could hear them literally turning pages in their binder on, oh, he
the
said
script.
this. Let me figure out what I can say next. I mean, this is just part of that script, right? And yes, you're right, and fans are right. He's under contract. He has no choice but to play here or just hold out the entire season. Or this phantom ankle injury he has, he goes to bat and says, I just can't play this year. Put me on IR. I really doubt that that's going to happen. And everyone keeps talking about how they're going to get this done. Right? There was a picture, actually a video of Terry walking out in the field when he saw Jaden's mom out there hugging Jaden's mom and then
Yeah.
also dapping up Josh Harris. Right. And it's just, to me, it doesn't seem like there's bad blood there and it's nothing that they can't walk back from. So it reminded me of the year prior where Ayuk was all on social media telling the Niners he wanted to get traded to Washington so he could play with Jaden. You know, you've got all these other players, and I had a list of them that'd say, hey, you know, I want out. I think it was Myles Garrett wanted out of Cleveland. Just a bunch of people wanted out of their teams, but eventually they signed there. Now, granted, the next year later, some of them had left, like Debo wanted out. And guess what? Debo stayed there, but he's here now.
Yeah.
So don't know what's going to happen, but Terry is under contract. And I don't know how far apart they are. You hear Schefter and other guys saying that they're $6 million apart and this and that. You got fans saying, pay him whatever he wants. And I got a problem with that. You just can't willy-nilly spend, because after this year, you got to lock up Tunsil if it goes well. You got to lock up Lattimore. You got to worry about Luvu, right? And I get that Jaden's not for a couple more years, but you still have big pieces of your foundation that you're building that are going to have to get paid. So Peters isn't just negotiating Terry's contract. He's also negotiating the money for the other contracts next year he's got to worry about. And you can't just pay him because of what he did prior to when you guys got here or when they got here. So it's not a blank check. And did you see that fan, that little kid that showed up with a blank check that said Terry McLaurin on it?
Yeah, I did see that. Cute, but hey, that's not how it works.
No, man. And it's just, that's why it was nice to be back at camp, because we were all together again. But I feel like the fan base is still so split on what to do with Terry. And from my standpoint, hey, if you're right and is next man up and Lane gets his chance or someone else gets their chance, whether it's Osborne, whoever it may be on the roster, because Terry wasn't there, then awesome, right? Because for me, it's about supporting the burgundy and gold. You know, on the front of the jersey, the players on the back, great. And I do want him to be here, and I hope he is here. I also want him to get what's best for him. And I hope that's with him being here, because I also don't want to have to buy Mr. Tailgate another jersey, because I'm kind of tired of buying more Commanders gear.
Come on, Councilman, you can handle it.
No. You know who can handle it, though? Is Santana Moss. They announced that Tana will be inducted into the Ring of Fame. And I'm bummed that I wasn't out there. I didn't get a chance to say what's up to Tana about it. And it reminded me of so many awesome memories with Tana. And the the Command Center did a top 5 of Santana's memories, you know, from when he played. One of them was actually Tana lining up at fullback and throwing a block where he just took out this linebacker's legs and flipped the linebacker upside down. And it was kind of crazy, but it got me thinking, because I feel like everyone's memory is going to be the Monday Night Miracle. And were you out there for that?
No, I was not.
I just remember, you know, we all remember where we were watching that thing.
Yeah.
But made me think, who should be the next Washington player to be inducted into the Ring of Fame? And I'm kind of springing this on you just because I don't want to ask you what your favorite memory was, because I feel like we probably would have picked the same one. Well, actually, what is your favorite Tana memory?
It has to be probably the Cowboy.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, because no one gave us a chance, and here it is, basically, a minute left, and he does what he does. Come on, man. That's 2 touchdowns. It's unheard of. So
yeah,
that has to be one of them, the most.
So for me, instead of that, the next player that needs to go in the ring, I'm assuming it's going to be next year. But for me, I'm torn between one or two people. So I'm just going to give one. And then if you don't have the second one, then I'll give it again. But it's got to be Chris Cooley. I feel that Cooley did so much for this franchise. He retired with the most catches of any tight end in franchise history, 2-time Pro Bowler. Right. And he did a ton for this team when he was here, not to mention all the stuff he did on the broadcast side as well. And he has been kind of just MIA living out in Utah. So to get him to come back into the fold when all the other legends are coming back would be awesome. And I think his name should be up there and deserves to be up there.
It makes a lot of sense.
Who do you
Makes a
think?
lot of sense. I think that Rally Captain should be there. That's who needs to be at the top. No, I'm playing. As Gary Clark's there, right?
Yeah, Gary's up there.
Yeah.
And I was looking, Gary's up there. I don't know if Ricky Sanders is.
One man gang. He's not up there, but I mean, he hadn't
No,
really
Zoe's
played.
not up there. Yeah, no, Ricky
Yeah.
Sanders isn't up there.
Yeah. I mean, you got the squad has to be so all of the squad needs to be up there because what they did. So definitely,
Yeah, Art's up there, Gary's up there, but Ricky's
yeah,
not there,
yeah.
surprisingly.
A
And
little sad. He's got to be. He should be there.
the other person I thought of that's not up there that I would have thought would be is Doc. Doc Walker's not up there, right? And I feel that Doc has just been such a huge part of this franchise for so long and contributed. I mean, I have a poster of the Hogs in
Jumping up.
tuxedos.
Oh,
No, the
okay.
in tuxedos in that like
Yeah.
playpen, right? With all those like
Yeah.
actual real hogs there. And Doc was a member of it. And people don't realize that. And he was on the radio broadcast doing sideline stuff for so long. And just, I feel that that is something that new ownership should rectify and put him up there so he can be honored forever because he deserves to be, in my opinion.
Yeah. He was a staple, definitely.
Yeah. And it's so great to see him still around the franchise and doing everything he's doing. And he's on 106.7. I think he's more on 980 doing stuff there, filling in. But it's exciting to think that I think last week we were 5 weeks before, actual real football, right? I've been starting to order stuff on Amazon for tailgate season, getting stuff ready. I'm going to be doing a tailgate preview, and I can't say the station right now, and some other stuff going on. So I'm trying to enjoy the last bit of summer. So when that reporter called me today and asked if I was going up there, I told him no. And I said, you obviously want him to hit you up. Like, I am trying to hold on to the last bit of summer for as long as I possibly can, man. And don't get me wrong, I'm going to be at the Bengals game just because it's the first preseason home game and I want to see the new stuff in the stadium. I want to see you and all the other Commanders fans, Washington fans out there. I'm skipping that last Ravens game. There is nothing for me to see there, and I cannot stand Baltimore fans. So in the meantime, I'm going to enjoy what we got left, but also look forward to just one heck of a year, man.
Yep. I hated to get off the ride last year or earlier this year, and this year I got my harness ready because buckle up because I feel it's going to be like you said, one hell of a ride, and I'm hoping to ride it until the wheels fall off, which is inevitably the Super Bowl.
Because it's in Santa Clara this year, right?
It sure is.
I kind of want to get an Airbnb.
The thing about that is the difference between New Orleans and Santa Clara is you've got a lot of ground that can be covered. Because I went to the Super Bowl 50, and I stayed outside of Santa Clara. There was plenty of stuff to do, plenty of hotel space. Unlike you're not landlocked like in New Orleans, so I think it could happen, and I would love to be there, bringing it back for us in this Super Bowl.
I might have to look into an Airbnb that's got a refundable policy because those hotels got crazy because we were booking them last minute. And I remember getting a 7-day Airbnb in New Orleans just in case. And this was when we were in Detroit and we beat Detroit. So I remember sitting there that night at the team hotel, just hanging out on my phone at 3 a.m, just signing up, getting an Airbnb. Like, screw it. I'm going all in. Thank God it had a refund policy because that would have sucked. But they had to approve my application because they didn't want a bunch of people coming down for the Super Bowl trashing the place. So I had to show them that I was old and grown. It's like, if I got to show you my gray hair, you tell me what I got to do. Well, I'm not coming down there with a bunch of, frat dudes and just trashing your house. But it was in the French Quarter. So now we might have to look into a little HQ for us out in Santa Clara.
Yeah. Looking forward to it. I think we're there. I think we're there.
I think we are if we sign Terry. If we don't
Fair.
lock him up, then no. I went to get a car inspection today, and I was talking to the guys in the inspection line that were putting the sticker on my car. I don't know if it passed or not. All I know is they scraped it off and just want to start talking football. So we're just chatting. They're like, "What do you think we're going to do?" I said, "Just depends on if 17's out there or not." All right. If 17's out there, I think we got a legit shot to do some real damage in the playoffs. I think the regular season is going to be a little tougher, but if 17's out there, I think we got a real shot in the playoffs to actually do some damage and maybe make it out to Cali. Can you imagine? Oh, Santa Clara is cold since it's up there towards San Fran.
Not necessarily.
It's definitely not like LA town.
When I went to the Super Bowl, now mind you, this was like I said that was what 2015, I believe it is, the 50th. It was nice, short sleeve weather, bro.
All right, because I've been out there February-ish, and it was a little chillier. So
well, Santa Clara's it's not on the water, so you don't have to worry about that. Now maybe if you're more inland, if you will, not inland, but more toward the water, San Francisco side, possibly a little cooler. But Santa Clara, there's no water really around it, so hey man, it was warm. It was a good time.
All right, well, you and me, Santa Clara. Well, I'm sure Mrs. Tailgate and Mrs. Riley will be out there too. So we'll figure something out. I just hope they figure out this Terry contract between now and the next pod. You have fun, be safe up in New England. I am jealous you're going just because you get to be up there amongst football again. I'll be looking for you on TV on the replay. And you got to come back with a report on what it was in Foxborough.
Definitely will. Can't wait. And as I said before, I'm putting the straps on right now. I'm buckling up because football is back. Let's go.
Amen, man. Amen. Go represent.
You know the saying, you rep it hard or you don't rep it at all, which lets me know that I hear the music playing in the background. We're bringing another episode to a close. And I said it, I jumped the gun, but Rally Captain Tailgate Ted, we're going to be out of here. Rep it hard or don't rep it at all. We'll see you later.